What do you make of the tension between Russia and Turkey? Obviously, Russia hasn't done anything yet in terms of a direct response. What kind of moves do you think Putin is thinking about in retaliation?
Well, of course, they're on opposite sides in the Syrian dispute, really. And I think Turkey's made that very, very plain. You don't know what the real facts are, but it does seem that they could have warned the Russians to get off their airspace. They claim they did. The Russians say they didn't. And so it was a hostile act. But they're different. There are many different competing players in this game. I mean, there's Russia, Iran, and then on the other side, there's Turkey. Now, what Turkey wants out of it all is very, very disputed. Some people say it really wants Syria to disintegrate so that the Turks can reoccupy that part of the world which they lost when the Ottoman Empire collapsed. I mean, that's one view. So it's complicated.
And how does that wind up working out economically, Lord Skidelsky? Because really, they're both, Turkey and Russia are very big trading partners with each other. I mean, Turkey imports 10% of all its goods from Russia. Russia sends 5% of its exports to Turkey. So who has more to lose as the standoff may continue?
Well, it may not continue. I think this was an incident. It's a very serious incident. We don't quite know how Russia is going to retaliate. But the basic point, I think, to grasp is that Russia, in a way, has come in from the cold. I mean, no one is talking any longer about the sanctions imposed over Ukraine and Crimea. Russia is an essential partner in the quest for peace in Syria. I don't think the West like that to be the case, but it is. And therefore, Russians themselves are starting to shrug off the fear of the sanctions and look forward to some greater cooperation. These things change instantly. From one week to another, you get a twist in international relations, and the cards fall in a different way.
Do you have any doubt that the sanctions, at least for the ones imposed by Europe, will in fact be lifted?
I'm not sure they'll be lifted, but I think they're not going to be increased. Which was always a threat, because the Russians haven't actually done what the sanctioners wanted them to do, and I think they'll gradually fade away. I don't know quite whether they'll be officially scrapped, but certainly they're not the dominating factor any longer in the relationship between Russia and the United States and Europe.
But you say they've come in from the cold. What critics of Russia say, actually, Russia is not a partner in fighting against ISIS, and that the only attacks they've made are against the rebels and not ISIS, despite what Putin says. Is Putin an ally in the fight against ISIS at all, or does he have his own agenda, and would it be dangerous for the West to sort of partner with him in this endeavor?
Well, I think he's got his own agenda. There is a power struggle going on, and he is an ally. Putin's an ally of Bashar Assad and the regime. But the point is, Russia is absolutely indispensable, because what is the basis for a political settlement in Syria? It's got to involve the existing regime. It's very hard to say who else it involves, because the opposition is scattered. We don't know. There's no single entity that represents the moderate opposition. And what Putin said is simply something the West has denied. Bashar Assad, or the people around him, are an indispensable part of any political settlement. And that seems to me the merest common sense.
It just seems like that's sort of the geopolitical landscape, but then economically at home for Putin, it seems to be a little bit of a different story. For example, the government today missed its bond sale target for the first time in a month, implying that the geopolitical risks are seeping into Russia's ability to raise money at home. Is there some kind of divergence you can make, sort of Putin geopolitically and then Putin at home?
Well, I think that is certainly. I mean, there is still a lot of uncertainty, but you had another news item about that basically people are paying the government to hold their money in Germany. There's a big increase in uncertainty everywhere. I think the political risks in the situation are greater, and the markets are reacting to that. And I think they do understand that the international system is in a very unstable state at the moment.
Do you think leaders in the West will come around to Putin's view on Assad, that he has an indispensable role in stability in Syria?
They're creeping up to it gradually with encoded language, a transitional arrangement, fresh elections, he'll be there for a short time, and so on. They're creeping up to it. I mean, it's only a meeting with reality, after all.
All right, well,
that regime controls a third of the country. You can't just write it out of any political settlement.